SCI Guys, the show where we talk about the crazy, weird, and wonderful stories from the science world. I'm Corey, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, the laser-guided Luke Cutfer.
Oh, is that who that guy is?
This week, we're talking about pigeons in pelicans, but first, I got a question for you, Luke.
I've got a question for you. What the hell? Pigeons and pelicans.
Well, I asked the questions here, buddy.
Yeah.
And my questions is this. What's your favorite bird fact? Or your favorite bird fib? Or just your favorite bird? I'm trying to cast a wide net for those who know bird facts, for those who like to lie, and for people who don't know anything and can name a bird.
Well, my favorite bird fact is now going to be that pigeons are, found inside of pelicans? Or they have sex with pelicans?
Oh,
One
wow,
of those?
that's so interesting. Can you explain that fact to me?
I cannot.
That's why I hate fun facts. They're not fun, okay? Nobody understands anything from a bloody fun fact. You just say something, you make up a bunch of things in your head that you think are true, but they're not, okay? Quit it with the fun facts. No more fun facts. No more fun at all. Just facts, information, and logic. And pussy.
What the hell? What? I hope that's staying in. Cut that bit, I'm guessing. Oh, all right. Well, let's keep going.
It's the four things I love, Luke. It's
Oh.
my four. Save me from this.
No, I will not. You will drown in your swamp you've created.
So to start this episode, Luke, I'm going to just steal the intro from the paper.
What have you done to Corey? He's a totally different Corey today.
What?
Have
No.
you, like, taken some coke or something?
No. Luke, it's not the 70s anymore, okay? Nor is it the
when
2010s.
you famously did coke.
I did not famously do coke, Luke. I kept that on the DL, okay? That was tight. No, okay. So I basically read the intro to this paper and I thought it was fantastic.
Okay.
So instead of rewriting it in barely my own words, like many a YouTube video essayist, I decided just to quote it like a normal person would.
Oh, you didn't do the third option of ask ChatGPT to rewrite it for you.
Oh, that's an option, is it? See,
Yeah.
I would have thought that was basically the first option that I gave, but much worse and for stupid people.
I didn't say it was good or bad. I just said it was an option.
I said it was bad. I said it was bad. You know, I'm sorry. I'll just...
So it was implied in the first option.
I'll just waste an unnecessary amount of energy instead of thinking for 10 minutes. It's so hard to even consider engaging my brain that I'd rather like boil 20 million kettles at once. That's too many. But it's somewhere in that region between 0 and
20 million kettles. Yeah, I mean most things are, so.
Well, between 0 and 20 million kettles. I mean, sure. Yeah. The abstract that I'm going to read, the bloody intro, I'm going to do that now.
Are you channeling your inner Jordan Peterson here? The bloody intro. Just read the bloody intro, man. Come on. Why was it so interesting?
It's like Kermit the Frog's, like, arsehole brother. Like, that's the impression that you're doing.
Yeah.
But it is also Jordan Peterson. Okay, so this is the history of a crackpot idea. Born on the wrong side of the tracks, intellectually speaking, but eventually vindicated in a sort of middle-class respectability. It is the story of a proposal to use living organisms to guide missiles, of a research program during World War II called Project Pigeon, and a peacetime continuation at the Naval Research Laboratory called ORCON, from the words organic control. Both of these programs have now been declassified.
Wow.
Yeah.
So at one point they were like, we need to keep this on the down low.
Well, look, if you want to bomb Nazis with pigeons and missiles, you don't want them knowing about it beforehand.
Is this because pigeons, like, do they, like, peck something if you put, like, a dot? They peck the dot? Or is that chickens? Chickens, I think if you put their, like, if you draw a line, they'll, like, keep their beak on the line or something.
Yeah, chickens will do that, I guess. I mean, I know many a chicken, but I've never done that. You know, I just pick them up when they... I was going to say when they don't want to, but rarely does a chicken ever want to be picked up.
Or
you know?
want anything, really.
No, chickens...
Seeds.
Chickens want.
Oh, they want. Oh, they be wanted.
Buddy, I'll tell you this.
Chickens have desires.
Chickens do be wanted. The weird thing is the chickens, I was going to say chickens can range from like being kind of chill to total arseholes, but that's people as well. That's like that's most creatures with what? like the frontal lobe, whatever the part of the brain is that makes you not like a rock.
Does chickens have a frontal lobe, like a prefrontal cortex?
I don't know enough about brains
I
to
think
say
prefrontal
otherwise.
cortex is a quite like modern evolutionarily.
Okay, and
for
chickens
us.
aren't modern?
No, they're dinosaurs.
No, chickens are a modern bird. What, do you think the red jungle fowl, like, no, come on, Luke.
Sure, okay.
She went into Jordan
But they're not
Peterson
like
again.
cutting edge tech. Like it's not like they have like the chicken we have is like, sure, it's cutting edge tech in one sense in that we selectively bred it, but it's not like, it's not the iPhone 16, is it? It's a chicken. I mean,
Sorry, I dipped out of that for a half a second, and I came back into it's not the iPhone 16, it's a chicken.
I really want to see the alternate universe in which Steve Jobs is up on the stage and he brings out his manila envelope, from which in our universe he pulled the MacBook Air, but instead it's just a chicken and he's launching a chicken. That would be lovely. It's the best chicken we've ever made.
And he launches the chicken. I, Steve Jobs, have made a chicken fly.
This is the only ethical use of AI, is to make a video of this specifically.
No, Luke, that is unethical. What I'll do is hire a director.
Oh, yeah.
I'll hire artists. I'll hire actors.
Lots of chickons.
So
Real chicken. Fire those
many.
chickens out of cannons.
Look, they got to be stunt chickens, okay? And I'll tell you this, Luke. I'll tell you this, right? Now, a lot of people will like not even consider stunt chickens like actors, but I think stunt chickens are as much actors as any other actor. In fact, you know what? Stunt chickens are more actors than voice chickens. You know what I mean? Like, what do voice chickens
Like
do?
Bella Ramsey. That was a really good joke that no one's going to get.
That was probably the wittiest, quickest, funniest, like best word you've.
Peak of my life.
I don't even want to explain.
Yeah.
Like if you don't understand that one,
We'll explain on the Patreon. There's not much explaining. You can just Google it, but it's fine.
Sorry, I love the concept because famously explaining jokes makes them better, and I simply love the idea of being a podcast
We charge for that.
that puts the explanation of the jokes behind a paywall.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
look, here's
great.
our pet frog. You can watch us kill it behind a paywall. You like this frog, right? You think it's cute? We're gonna vivisect it. Oh, I bet you can't
Yes.
wait to. I would pay for that, man.
Did you vivisect anything at school?
Well,
Or
I wasn't
dissect?
allowed to, but
We
you know,
did.
many children.
Loads. We dissected rats at school. Yeah, like it was kind of weird. Like we had to pay for it as well. We brought in like
Sounds
money.
like you were being swindled.
Yeah.
You paid to torture rats.
No, they were dead.
Well, that wasn't a vivisection then.
Sorry. I don't know words. Dissect. We dissected a rat. We brought in money, I think like £10, and they literally gave us in return a bag, like a sealed, vacuum-packed bag with a dead rat in it. And we opened it up and we dissected it.
Buy a live rat for that much. Kill it yourself.
Well, I think the killing is part of the service. And it's not nice, but that
Have you
is
seen a rat die, Luke?
No.
Do you know how many rats I've seen die?
3.
2.
Oh, were you looking away for the other one?
One of them died in the cage, Luke. Jesus.
Is the cage just like a solid wall?
I don't sit and watch them 24/7. He died during the night.
Okay.
I was going to take him to be put down the next day,
Yeah.
and he died before I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other 2, I did watch the light drain from their eyes, which is insane, man.
I want to watch the light leave your eyes.
I don't know.
You to those 2 rats.
Dude, I don't know, man. That changes you.
Yeah, I did that. I watched my hamster die at 8 years old.
Well, I watched my grandmother die.
Actually, it also has a link to the
Hamster lived to 8 years old? Wow.
He was lying about his age. Sorry, reference to last week's episode.
I don't even know if that's the order these are going to come out.
Reference to a different episode.
It's a reference to the Patreon. It's fine. We'll explain it.
We can.
Yeah, we'll string that along for 20 minutes.
If there was ever a joke you don't understand on a podcast, send us a message and then we'll do an entire episode explaining all of our jokes just on the Patreon.
Too many people that watch this podcast are autistic. I think we've just discovered the most insane and possibly unethical money-making scheme. Am I allowed to say that? They'll tell me if I'm not.
They'll let you know. Someone will.
Yeah, so I don't know if chickens have a prefrontal cortex. I'll maybe find out and I'll tell you on the Patreon. Oh, yeah.
This bloody capitalist.
Oh, look at me. Trying to survive.
You pest.
No, okay, so I've read you the little intro there, so you understand what this episode is about, don't you?
It's all gone from my head. Vivisecting things? What? Oh, chickens. Nuclear something. Guiding missiles, but they're pigeons, not chickens.
Okay, so you've brought in nuclear. Why do you think?
I also brought in chickens.
Yeah, I know. They're clucking
Hey,
it.
don't tell me I don't bring things to the table. Might not be helpful. They might not have anything to do with what we're talking about.
Look, you're vegan. Chicken is the last thing you should be bringing to the table.
No, it's alive. He's here for dinner.
Don't
Don't you speak bad of my guest.
Look, I know more chickens than you, okay? You bring into a chicken to the table is incredibly unlikely.
How many chickens do you know?
I mean, probably more than 20.
Oh, okay. I know like 4. One of them's dead, eaten by a fox.
Oh, well, if I'm counting dead chickens.
No, we're not.
I know a lot of dead chickens.
Did you kill them?
No, it was like old age or dogs or foxes or whatever. The farm chickens, you know.
Those are all your drag names. When you kill chickens? Don't know.
I dress in drag to murder chickens.
Another ethical use of AI, generating that specific video.
Like I'm a vegan turf's worst nightmare, you know. Like that's
all turf is vegan. It's just grass, Corey.
And it's a shame they've never touched it, Luke. But do you know about B.F. Skinner?
Big Friendly Skinner. From The Simpsons. He's quite big.
He's a normal-sized man, and he's moderately friendly, I suppose. What's his first name?
Principal? Seymour! Sorry, yeah. Got there at the end. Principal?
I feel there's like recently been a running theme of you just saying the most childish thing. Like, hey, what's your mom's name? I don't know, Mom? Like, that's what I call her.
Mama? Mommy?
She has another name? No, so BF stands for Burris Frederick. So Burris Frederick Skinner. Good name. No?
Why BF? Oh, is that his, like, did he have that as his name?
That's his initials.
It's called BF.
Yeah. You
Okay.
know, like...
Cool. Like CJ. Or MJ.
Keep on naming letters for me.
TJ.
Yeah? Maybe one that isn't something than a J.
WH.
No.
From the shop.
No. I thought there's HW. That would make sense. As in the bush.
Ah.
Yeah. The bad one.
He's in the bush, or what's he doing there? Is that the
know,
grassy
probably
knoll?
Bombing people in the Middle
Probably
East.
bombing people? Oh, God, that's bleak.
In the Middle East.
Oh, it's like camouflage. Wait, if you're in the Middle East, being in a bush is not
George
good camouflage.
H.W. Bush.
I
Luke.
know.
Okay.
I know, but
I know you know, but...
they don't know. Keep up.
They weren't born until after the Iraq War. Probably. I don't know history or current events. B.F. Skinner, Luke.
Yeah.
Burris Frederick Skinner.
He's the guy who stuck pigeons on bombs?
He didn't stick them on bombs, Luke. Don't get ahead of yourself, okay? First, we're going to talk about where he was born, where he lived, and where he died. He was born, can you guess when? I'll narrow it down for you.
Okay.
It was in March. You got to get the year.
19? 19?
Yeah.
10?
No.
10?
10.
Oh,
Yeah.
4.
Wow, well done, yeah.
Thank you.
It was 20th of March, 1904. You didn't get it, even though I cut it down by 1/12, which is like... no, by 1/12, by 11/12, which is like most dates. So, you know, well done. Yeah, he died in 1990 at 86 years of age.
Rip.
Yeah, he had a... What? Oh, God. He had a PhD in psychology from Harvard. He got that in 1931. And this is from the Harvard Department of Psychology. I'm going to quote this as well. He achieved notoriety.
Did he?
That's what they said. Yeah, it says that he achieved notoriety.
Oh.
Look, it's the
Weird
Harvard...
these guys are giving out degrees when they can't even spell.
Look, it's the Harvard Department of Psychology.
Oh.
Doesn't mean it's the Harvard Department of Spell.
Did you learn there to speak?
I'm really struggling.
The Harvard of Harvard.
It's hard. I went to Harvard, okay?
Like for a day? On a day trip?
I mean, it was like kind of an afternoon, but yeah, I went there.
After not even a day.
I was on tour. I have a whole day to spend
I
at Harvard.
studied at Durham for 2 weeks, one summer, when I was 14.
Okay, well, I've been to Oxford, Luke.
Congratulations.
I actually don't even think that's true. I don't think I ever have even been to...
I've been to Oxford, and I had an entire night where I pretended like I was just there at university, and I just made loads of friends and was in dorms and went to the parties and stuff, and then I just went home.
No, it's easy for a white man to do. I'll continue quoting Harvard. He achieved all of Harvard.
All of Harvard?
He achieved notoriety.
Sorry, hang on. Is his last name Harvard?
What?
BH. Is that the H? It's Harvard. I'm only half listening. But he went to Harvard and he studied at Harvard and he is called Harvard.
B.F. Skinner.
Right.
No H in there.
Oh, so you're quoting Harvard, the institution.
I'm quoting the Harvard Department of Psychology's website.
My
I
apo-
did say I've given you all of this information.
I'll write you a letter of apology.
I will not be able to read it.
Because
Evidently,
you studied at Harvard.
like I didn't study at Harvard.
Evidently.
I went there. Okay, I went to Harvard
For an afternoon.
It doesn't matter how long you
I
learn
think
for.
it
Luke.
So
No, it's not about how long you learn for. It's about what you learn. Okay.
What did you learn?
Not much. So he achieved notoriety for a mid-1950s Life magazine article showcasing his air crib, a temperature-controlled glass box in which his infant daughter would play. This led to the urban legend, occasionally heard to this day, that Skinner experimented on his daughter, or raised her in a box, and that she grew up embittered and maladjusted, all of which are false.
So she didn't grow up embittered and maladjusted.
No, I love that the Harvard Department of Psychology are like, now we gotta set the record straight here. His daughter, she did an interview with the BBC in February 2025, February 4th, I believe, actually, on this topic that we're talking about today, which is why I know about it. So she was still kicking in February 2025, and she seemed...
She'd already left the womb. Why was she... Anyway.
Luke, what do footballers do?
Hoof.
Say that again.
Hoof?
Hoof.
They hoof the ball into the goal.
Right.
What a cracking hoof that was. Look at the hoof on that one. Sorry, not to get into football terminology.
It's better than boofing a goal into the hole. What's a goal? You make up your mind. I don't know. Just muddle the letters about. Anyway, boofing is when you stick something up. Anyway, so no, his daughter.
They know what boofing is.
Spoken about it enough, haven't we? No. So his daughter, as I said, did an interview, and she seemed to speak fairly positively of her dad. And from the 2-minute interview that I saw, she didn't seem maladjusted. So in my professional opinion, as a podcaster,
and one-time Harvard graduate.
Whoa.
Oh, you didn't graduate.
I'm a graduate, and I went to Harvard.
Okay. Now that's very good.
You gotta say it.
Very good technicality.
You gotta say it in that specific
You word that
way.
carefully, you can get a really good job.
I went to Harvard and I graduated. Are the two connected?
No.
Who's to say?
Can I tell you a really... No, I'll do this on the Patreon because it's a big tangent. Well, up to you. What do you think?
I have literally no idea what you're about to say. Give me a little taste. Give me a little...
It's just a funny thing. It's literally nothing to do with science at all.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Okay, fine. Sorry, very quick tangent. Let me just take you on this really funny thing. So, my parents are trying to buy a house at the moment.
Save it for the Patreon, Luke.
Oh,
Okay, so...
everything must be paywalled.
No, I just don't have the time
Okay.
to mess about, talk about your bloody parents and the bloody house and none of this science stuff. No.
We need to start a list of all the stuff we're doing on the Patreon because we've promised a lot and we're probably not going to deliver.
If only, Luke, if only there were a record of all of the things that we were saying.
If we forget anything, they can tell us and we'll do it in the next Patreon.
Look, I edit these.
Right, yeah, but we'll record the Patreon before you edit it.
I'm just saying, they don't need to tell us. I'll remember.
I'll tell us. Okay, cool. Yeah.
I'll tell us.
You go to the mirror and be like, you forgot to explain the hoofing.
And the boofing.
You forgot to explain the
hoofing
thing
and the
about the Bella being a chicken thing.
Sure. Okay. Back to the things I have in front of me and not the nonsense you're spewing. He kept his daughter in a little glass box. So,
Hang on, but he didn't do that.
No, he did.
Oh, he did do that.
No, he kept her in a box, but he didn't experiment on her.
So when they said all of which is not true, that didn't include. This is you graduating and also going to Harvard. They said all of this is not true. They meant that she grew up maladjusted and that other stuff. They didn't mean that she didn't grow up in a box.
Well, the urban legend of that he experimented on his daughter or raised her in a box, that was false. I mean, I guess it's
You just said that he did raise her in a box.
No. That he raised her in a box is false. He had a box for her to play in.
Ah,
It's
okay.
different. It's a play box, not a living box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Temporarily in the box.
Exactly, right. Like, look, for example, if I caged you up for an hour every day, would you say that I raised you in a cage?
No, I'd say, please let me out.
And I'd say, no, boy!
No,
I'd kick it.
Please. See, the camera, if you're watching on YouTube, the camera shot is quite tight, but you can't see the bars, but they are here. I've not left this chair in months. It's starting to smell.
In fairness, it would start to smell regardless of whether I let him leave it or not. The boy doesn't shower. But
You
anyway,
won't let me. You've not installed a shower in the cage.
look, you have showers. They're golden and you'll like it. You're a father, Luke. How often do you put your daughter in a climate-controlled box?
Well, if you're carrying a car,
No.
it's a climate-controlled box.
There's many other things first.
But it's also that. It's a climate-controlled box on wheels.
Yeah, sure. Okay, how often do you do?
Maybe once every other day.
By that logic, Luke, I would say you should go to jail.
Oh.
You should be keeping your daughter
Did
in
I
a
pass
climate-controlled box
Go or?
every single day.
Oh, really? I'm really neglecting my child.
Yeah.
Oh, climate control box. That's very good. Is this
Mm.
that's not, I'm presuming it's not the box he kept his daughter in.
It is.
Or put his daughter in
Do you
occasionally.
know what, Luke? No, that's not the box he kept his daughter in. In fact, I don't even want to talk about that box anymore. Do you know where we can talk about it?
No, please enlighten me.
It's on the Patreon.
Oh, God.
And I'll tell you what, Luke, you can find out where we'll actually talk about it.
We've plugged this way too many times.
It's a running joke, Luke.
It really is running, though.
The funniest thing would be if we did
just didn't do a
Patreon. We just forgot. No, so the box of Skinners I actually want to talk about
Yeah.
is the Skinner box for rats and pigeons. It is not a box that skins rats and pigeons.
It's a box by him
Yes.
for both rats and pigeons.
Yes.
Together or separately?
Well, I mean, it depends on the experiment, Luke. You might have heard of it. It's an
How long does it take a pigeon and a rat to kiss? We put them in a box to find out.
I mean, they're kind of like, I think pigeons and rats are like the same genre
Yes.
because they're both treated as pests, but like, you know, they're both pets.
like human.
Pest and pet, Luke.
Oh, just an S.
Wow, you just swap the letters and it's so different.
Oh, that's mind blowing.
You know, man, it's like sometimes you think about things.
Yeah.
And it like changes your whole worldview. It's like, what's the difference between a pet and a pest? Just an S, bro.
Snake.
It's the snakes you got to watch out for. Joe Rogan has a hard job, man.
Oh my
Being
God.
that clinically stupid is difficult.
Quickly, this is incredible. We're not going to put this on the Patreon. It's relevant. So I was watching Joe Rogan talk out. There was a clip that was referenced in something else I was watching that was like Joe Rogan talking about how Trump accidentally sent someone to a jail in El Salvador when they were protected and they weren't meant to be sent there. Absolutely, completely messed up. Joe Rogan, to his credit, is saying this is extremely messed up, having helped put the man in office, but he is like calling that out and being quite aggressive in how he's calling it out. So I'm watching this clip and they're like talking about this and they're reading the news and they're scrolling through and it's an isolated clip. I'm not watching the full Joe Rogan episode. And then someone just goes like, Joe, can you pass me the lighter? And then he just passes them a lighter and they're just lighting up a joint. And it just made me realize that Joe Rogan is an insane show where they'll talk about I mean, maybe not very well, but about pretty hard politics. But they'll also just be like, hey man, can you pass me the joint? And they're just, which is like, you don't really see, like, that's definitely not something on mainstream TV. It's not even most podcasts are doing that. It's kind of a mad, like, phenomenon.
Well, yeah, because Luke, college students do that. That's where they get that from.
No, I know, but
so they don't need to, like, if you want to listen to the Joe Rogan podcast back in the day, you know, before all these nonsense internets and podcasts, you know what you'd do? You'd go to a college dorm. You'd go to some halls, like student halls. You just sit and listen outside the door. That's what you'd do. And that was the podcast back in the day, I'll tell you. And that was better back then. Okay? Because college students couldn't decide who the president was. They didn't know how to vote. Okay? They were too stoned to do anything. You're right. It is absolutely mental that Joe Rogan has like the biggest podcast on the planet.
But even then, like, if you say, like, well, it's like a college dorm room, it's also like, yes, it is, but it's also like the people in it are like this super famous guy and like the richest guy in the world, and they're smoking a joint together. It's just so weird. Like, nothing else like that exists.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Nothing makes sense anymore,
it's a little
Luke.
weird blip in the universe.
There are many weird blips in the universe, you know, like a criminal.
A criminal.
A criminal.
A criminal.
Blip. No, like, you know, like when I say criminal, that sounds so negative. But what I mean is a man who has done many horrible, horrible things. Becoming president again.
Oh, he is convicted of a crime. He is a criminal.
I know,
yeah.
but I don't want to cast aspersions on criminals.
Yeah, I don't want to fucking bury them to Donald Trump. That's
No,
great.
I think
yeah,
that's
really
genuinely
funny.
think that's, but no, because like being a criminal, what does that mean? You've been convicted of a crime.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you committed a crime,
Yep.
or that your crime should be a crime,
Yep.
or that you're even that bad of a person.
Donald
Unlike
Trump,
Donald
however.
Trump. Like, you're giving criminals a bad name, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I reckon we should maybe get back to the actual topic of this bloody episode. But before that, Luke.
Uh-huh.
Ding-a-ling-ling, is that the ad bell?
I thought it was my tinnitus, but it turns out it's the ad bell.
What is he ringing for this week, Luke?
Well, today the show is being sponsored and supported, as always, actually, by our Patreon.
What? A Patreon? Is that where people can go and pay for trees on something?
That is not what it is. Maybe we'll do that as a perk one day. But for now, the Patreon is a place where people can go, people who love this show, like you, for example, can go and support the show existing. It's very complicated and expensive to make this show, and our patrons help it to exist. So we think you are very lovely for doing that.
Yeah, if you've ever noticed anyone's name scrolling through at the end of a SCI Guys episode, that's because they're our patrons, and we want to thank our patrons for helping us make this show. So to do that, we give them a whole bunch of things. Perks like bonus episodes and a different show, and other things. What else do we give them, Luke?
They get to submit topic ideas for the show for Corey to consider, and then also those topic ideas go into a vote that is voted on every month by our patrons only. So they basically get to control us once a month.
So if you really love SCI Guys and you're not content with just sitting back and watching us natter on, you want to have a hand in the show, you want to be a part of it, go ahead and sign up to our Patreon, because you can be a part of this show.
Shall we get on with that show?
We shall. So Luke, Skinner boxes, what are they?
Boxes?
Yes.
Put rat and pigeon in them. Sometimes together, sometimes not.
Okay, I fear you may have taken me too literally.
Sometimes child.
I didn't say anything. And no, okay, right. Let me explain what a Skinner box is to you before you have any more thoughts.
You asked me.
I did, and that was my fault. I should not have handed you the reins. It was much like letting a child drive and being upset when they crash. But a Skinner box. So he used it with rats and pigeons, sort of primarily. So it's also known as an operant conditioning chamber. What do you think that might be?
I'm going to guess it's something to do with like giving a stimulus, giving a reward, and then trying to sort of train the specimen, the subject, to do that thing.
Yeah,
Some
it's
kind
a
of
lot
training.
like 50 Shades of Grey,
But
with no humans and less sex. Or maybe more sex. It really depends on...
So a bug's life.
No.
Okay.
What a bug's life is like... It's a horrible story
There's
about
no humans or
oppression.
sex in that.
There are humans in that film, actually.
Color me corrected.
Yeah, okay. I've seen a bug's life. Have you? Have you?
Have you even seen a bug's life?
It's so short, bro.
This guy hasn't even seen a bug's life.
So it's like it's not the same box his daughter was in, by the way. I know you said children. This is a completely different kind of box.
Thank goodness for that.
Multiple
Would
boxes.
not be clean. From the daughter.
From the child, yeah.
Smothered her shit all over the
You know
walls.
what kids are like.
The rat's like, I'm not living in here.
But rats are actually very clean. They're very clean. I was saying as well, rats and pigeons are the same genre of animal in that they were pests, but they were also pets. And pigeons are only pests because of fancy pigeons, as in pet pigeons that people kind of let out. And rats, they're survivors, but fancy rats are a big old thing. And, they probably contribute somewhat to, like...
The economy. Well, yeah, they do. When they are, well,
they can have
do
jobs.
They are sold, but
No, they can have jobs. They can do tasks.
That's what we're talking about right now, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, so you've got a box with like buttons and a food dispenser. It's like one of them coin operated, like sweet machines that you get at, like arcades and stuff. Except you're inside of it. You don't use a coin.
And you're a rat.
You're a rat.
Yeah.
You're not a person.
You're doing a lot of comparisons and then a lot of caveats to your comparisons.
Well, Luke, I just see everything as being connected. I'm a man of the people. Luke. What can I say?
What? Okay.
I'm a man of the people. I see.
From Buddhism to populism very quickly
I
there.
see similarities in all things.
Wow.
Just like the Buddha did. The Buddha was a man of the people.
Was he?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was a king.
Nah, he was a man of the people.
He was a prince, I think.
Man of the people. He gave it all up to be a man of the people.
Well,
then
that's true.
Jesus said, "You're enlightened," and he became God.
And thus spake. Sorry, what's going on?
So he invented the Skinner box, not Buddha, Skinner. And as I said, basically like a box of buttons, a food dispenser. There could be like lights, other jazzy little things depending on the experiment you're doing. It's basically like a more streamlined way of like getting a rat or a pigeon to learn to do a thing. You know, like they press the button, the food comes out, or a light goes on, or whatever.
I heard something about this sort of thing recently about like the amount of time it takes for like a cat, say, to learn something. So like if you have a box and you put the cat in the box, and the cat can put its arm out, and there's a button, and then when they hit the button, they get out of the cage. It's really quick how quickly the cat learns just by like basically flailing around where the button is. And like it goes like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and then like 2 minutes, and then like 1 minute, and then 30 seconds, 10 seconds, so quickly. And basically the strategy, the point of that is the strategy is literally the cat doesn't even know there's a button. They're just flailing around, and then they get the output that they want, which is they get out of the box, the Skinner box, probably. That's in a book called Atomic Habits I was reading recently.
Everyone's bloody suggesting Atomic Habits.
Oh, well, Evan was suggesting it to me for about 3 years, and I kept not reading
Evan
it.
suggested that's who I got. I heard you there.
We're in the same cult.
So we should probably get to the actual topic, as I've said probably several times already. Putting pigeons into missiles. Now, the reason I found out about this is because it won an Ig Nobel Prize in 2024. It was a posthumous one. What a difficult word to say. Thank God I don't have actually, with a lisp, it would be easier. Posthumous.
They give them to possums?
No, after Skinner died, and then he got the award.
The possum got the award.
Oh my fucking God.
What did he have to do with it?
So anyway,
I thought this
Skinner
was about
got
pigeons.
the Ig Nobel Prize. It's like a
Well, he
Nobel
didn't, 'cause
Prize.
he was
but
dead.
you laugh, and then you think, I'm just going to keep on talking. It's going to not stop. He said of this, the spectacle of a living pigeon carrying out its assignment, no matter how beautifully, simply reminded the committee of how utterly fantastic our proposal was. So that's why you haven't heard of like pigeon-guided missiles. Not because it didn't work, but because like the people in charge of it, the US military or government or whatever, were like, we got a bird inside this. Maybe this is a bad idea.
Why?
Well, because it looks weird. And that explains America.
Why? When has America been bothered about looking weird?
Segregation.
Was that the motivation to end segregation?
No.
Well, it's looking a bit weird.
It was the reason for segregation.
Oh, okay.
People look different.
Not necessarily weird, just different.
Oh my God, look, this is not the time. This is not the time for you to suddenly go.
I don't think they were going, these guys look weird. I think they were going, these guys aren't like us.
Yeah, because they look weird.
No, they just look different.
Yeah,
They're different bad. They're saying different bad.
I'm inhabiting the mindset of a racist, which is very hard for me to do. Obviously, because I'm so not racist.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
I don't know why I'm using this tone, Luke.
Neither
I'm not.
I'm
not racist, okay?
God, a lot of cognitive dissonance going on here. It's like you're saying you are, but also I know that you're not.
I'm not racist.
I know.
Don't know. Like, look, do I have to show you my I'm not racist t-shirt? Okay?
I have friends who are not racist.
I have a poster on my front door that says, I am not racist. Stop saying I'm racist. I am not racist. And yet people still think that I might. Anyway, it's not the point, Luke. I'm moving on. Project Pigeon was in World War II, okay? You know what was going on during World War II? A lot of bad stuff. Let's not get into it too deep. Yeah, the war. Yeah. The worst Second World War.
Too War, Too Furious.
I don't feel like that's a fun joke to make, Luke. That's in poor taste. So the reason I said pigeons and pelicans earlier is because the missile was called a pelican because essentially
it's got a big mouth that the pigeon sits in.
Well, no, because okay. So back then it took a lot of machinery and all that to get the missile to fly. So you basically had like a bunch of wires and stuff jammed in. And the idea was of calling it a pelican because, like, a pelican's mouth is bigger than its belly. Haha. Like, you had to jam a lot of stuff to make the missile work.
Very weak link they've made here.
Look, let me give you a quote that'll maybe make it less all over the place and more understandable.
Yeah.
Its name is a useful reminder of the state of missile art in America at that time. Its detecting and servo mechanisms took up so much space that there was no room for explosives, hence the resemblance to the pelican, whose beak can hold more than its belly can. My title is perhaps now clear.
So it actually looked like a pelican.
I guess.
Like the beluga planes.
Yeah.
Like beluga.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you, Luke. I didn't look up exactly what that missile looked like. I was more interested in the one that
had the pigeon.
Yeah, the pigeon part of it.
Yeah.
Which was pretty bloody cool. So basically the way that this worked, Luke, is you put a pigeon in a jacket not like that.
In a little jacket.
It's like a little tube. You pin it down so it can only move its head.
Do you give it aviator sunglasses as well?
I mean, I think that's a given.
Okay.
Like, how could it fly without its little aviator sunglasses?
It must be weird because the pigeon's eyes are on the side of the head, aren't
Yeah,
they? So,
they're especially built.
it's like two monocles.
There's just a very long bridge in the middle.
No ears, so where do they tuck? Behind the feathers?
So you fold them back and they kind of cross over.
So it's like really ski goggles.
It's kind of like goggles, but with really thin frames.
Okay.
So you put the pigeon in a jacket, can move its neck and head, and look, you understand how to teach a pigeon to do something. You kind of explained it already. It's basically that. You get it to peck at a thing. They're good at that by making it peck grain and then moving it to peck onto a dot and then getting it to peck like a picture of something. At one point he mentions in the paper, like, oh, we got the pigeon to target like a map of a city. And I can't say which city for international relations reasons.
Interesting.
Well, it was World War II, Luke.
Yes.
And this paper was published in 1960, I think. 1960. So, World War II has been over for 15 years. So maybe it's not the best time to like stoke tensions even more by being like, so we're going to drop pigeons on these countries and these cities. Basically the pigeon would like move in like sort of two axes, as in like up, down, left, right, to direct the missile using its sort of head where it pecked, and that's how it could like sort of control where it was going. They had it on like wheels, the missile initially, so they could just push it, and then the pigeon, to see if the pigeon can direct itself to a bullseye. And I quote, "The pigeon learned to reach any target within reach of the hoist, no matter what the starting position, and during fairly rapid approaches."
Now, the question I have here is, what is the pigeon pecking? Because like you have to, surely you're not like, oh, I want to send a missile to Berlin, and so now I have to train a pigeon to recognize Berlin, because you can't put like a big target on Berlin. You can't be like, right, I'm just gonna put this target here, and then the pigeon's gonna peck it. So is it trained for a landmark, and then you have to have a different pigeon for every landmark you might potentially want to bomb?
So, to my understanding, it initially started off as being like surface to air missiles, and then they were like, oh, surface to air missiles, no, let's change to sort of air to surface missiles dropped from planes. And so the pigeons were only used for the ones being dropped from planes, and it was either getting them to hit, I think, other planes or different targets. Now the thing is, because there's no guided missile systems. Now here's the thing, like it might have, I don't even know if it was planes. I don't know if that's just something I made up because I assumed it, but they had kind of like a clear bit of sort of, let's say, perspex or something like that, right? They used like a camera obscura sort of thing to project an image of what they wanted onto it during the training and everything. But the idea was that you train a pigeon to home in on a specific image or something, and they managed to do this even if there were like sort of clouds or like sort of like flak and stuff in the way, right? And the pigeon will like direct, because they're like, they've been trained to peck at a thing. It's hard for me to explain because I don't remember.
No, I do understand. I just mean about like, what are they trained to peck? Like, because if it's planes, that makes sense because you're just pecking a plane shape. But if you want to target a bomb at a specific area, you'd have to have a pigeon trained to peck that specific area. So it surely can't
Aerial
be that.
photos, maps, and
no, of course, but you just have to have like, oh, we want to bomb this specific city. All right, well, give us like 10 weeks. We'll train a pigeon. Like,
it'll take 10 weeks.
Okay, but like even give us like a couple of days, like to peck at this specific.
Yeah, but you'd plan a.
Okay.
You'd plan a.
I don't know anything about war really, so like.
So why are you quibbling so much, Luke? Huh?
Yeah.
Why are you saying they can't bomb things fast enough?
I guess
for
I'm
me,
thinking
Luke
about
Humphrey?
today, where like people target like specific like buildings or like that sort of thing, which would be incredible. And you might be like, they might be like trying to, like, most of the missiles now are like in very fast moving wars, right? But then I suppose back in the past, maybe not quite so fast moving. Everything was slow. Phones didn't exist.
That's very true, Luke. Yes, phones didn't exist. Not a single phone
never
existed ever. Nothing. They couldn't communicate.
We had missiles, but we didn't have phones.
It's a weird thing to. It's like inventing the can opener.
No, we did have phones.
I know.
Okay.
It's like inventing the can opener before the can. No, the can opener before the can. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
It's like that, but nothing like it at all.
This was no.
Just like a good metaphor, Luke, or simile, which is like a metaphor.
You've done a lot of these,
but nothing
it's
like it at all.
50 Shades of Grey, but with no humans or sex.
Yeah, everything.
kind of all of 50 Shades of Grey.
Everything is like 50 Shades of Grey. Just got to think a little bit. No, so we found that a pigeon could hold the missile on a particular street intersection in an aerial map of a city. Yeah, so whether it was planes or city streets, I think it was both, to be honest with you.
I suppose you could train a pigeon to peck, and then you could give it a new target, and that might take less time to train the initial.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't. It did not. It did not take long to train these sort of pigeons.
Like a sniffer dog. Hold up the clothes.
It's interesting. He actually mentions, sniffer dogs and stuff in the start of the paper, being like, hey, we used animal senses all the time. Like, a dog's ears is an alarm system, and a dog's nose is a finding system. And a lot of dog examples, I'll be honest with you. We use dogs for lots of
Mainly dogs.
things. Mainly dogs.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they put dogs in these missiles?
Luke?
Yeah.
I have a very long quote to read for you, but it is so related to what you just said, and it's so perfect.
Do I want to hear it?
Oh, you want to hear it?
Okay.
The project lapsed again and would probably have been abandoned if it had not been for a young man whose last name I have ungratefully forgotten, but whose first name, Victor, we hailed as a propitious. Don't know what that word means.
No.
As a something sign, propitious.
Like fortuitous.
Fortuitous. I've never seen that word before. Honestly, when I skimmed it before, I thought it was prosperous. Anyway, his subsequent history.
He was loaded. He was just real rich. This guy.
Anyway, his subsequent history led us to refer to him as Vanquished, and this, as it turned out, was a more reliable omen. Victor walked into the Department of Psychology at Minnesota one day in the summer of 1942, looking for an animal psychologist. I love. Give me an animal psychologist. He had a scheme for installing dogs in anti-submarine torpedoes.
You've seen pigeon in a missile. Now I'll give you a dog in an anti-submarine torpedo missile.
The dogs were to respond to the faint acoustic signals from the submarine and to steer the torpedo towards its goal. He wanted a statement from an animal psychologist as to its feasibility.
What the hell would they know?
Because an animal psychologist will know. They train animals to do things. So
yeah,
they'll know if a dog
not
could
that
be trained
though.
but they'll know if a dog could be trained to target a submarine.
Yeah.
He was understandably surprised to learn of our work with pigeons, but seized upon it eagerly, and citing it in support of his contention that dogs could be trained to steer torpedoes, he went to a number of companics. There are lots of words here that clearly were from the 60s that aren't used as regularly today. Or I'm stupid. Those are the only two options.
Or both.
His project was rejected by everyone he approached, but one company, General Mills. Yes, that General Mills.
Oh, that General. Oh, I thought it was the other one.
The General Mills that does Betty Crocker's, Bisquick's, Bugles, Check cereals, Cheerios, Cocoa Puffs, Cookie Crisp, Dunkaroos, Golden Grahams, loads more things.
What I was going to say.
Very American.
Yeah.
They also do Old El Paso, Nature Valley. They do Trix. They do Wheaties. Do you know any of these? They do Reese's Puffs.
This is just sounding like this is like Nestle or Kellogg's before they rebranded.
It's basically that same vibe.
Yeah.
So General Mills, you can understand. I bet you can imagine where they started working from when General Mills took interest.
America?
No.
What?
A flour mill.
Hang on a second. So this guy was making all this cereal, but he was also...
No, he wasn't making cereal.
Okay.
Okay, no. Okay, so this guy came in. He was like, I want to put dogs in torpedoes.
Yeah.
He found out about the pigeons and missiles. He was like, dude, same wavelength.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go find companies. Companics. Must have been a typo or an old way to say company. Anyway, he goes to companies being like, okay, do you want to fund this torpedo dog pigeon missile situation?
And they're like, sorry, just make Golden Grahams. Please leave us alone.
Like, well, most companies said that, and then General Mills was like, tell us more.
I've been meaning to diversify my portfolio out of just breakfast cereals.
Yeah, we want pigeon missiles. Scrap the dog torpedoes. That's not a General Mills thing. Pigeon missiles is it. And I'm not even joking. They presented the data to the vice president in charge of research at the company. They weren't looking for new products, and this is a quote, they weren't looking for new products, but Hyde thought that it might, as a public service, develop the pigeon system to the point that at which a government agency could be persuaded to take over. So Hyde was the vice president of sort of research there. Basically, he was like, okay, it's a public service. Why don't we put a bunch of money into pigeon missiles? And then once that takes off, Huh? Once we hit the boom, a government agency can take over from where we picked up. That'll be good for us. In many ways, right? Insane that a cereal company
Yeah.
who literally owned flour mills was like, I know what we'll do. Let's build like pigeon bombers. And literally they went to work in a flour mill, the top floor of a flour mill, to continue working on their pigeon missiles. And as I said, it ended up not working. Like, it could have worked. Right? It was all there. If you go to the Smithsonian, there's they've got still the pigeon containment system on the tip of the missile, like that part of it.
Is it how I'm picturing it, like an airplane with a little cockpit, but in the cockpit is a pigeon? Like he's BB-8 on the side of like the fighter jets or whatever they're called, X-wings. X-wings.
No, Luke. No. Do you know the nose of a missile?
Yes.
It's like a cap of the nose of the missile. And there's like little windows.
Oh.
I think there might have been even like a triangulation system with 3 pigeons. I might have read somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah, but
democracy in action.
In the nose of a missile.
Yeah.
And you drop it, and they figure out a thing later on where you drop it and it spins so that the pigeon can only only needs to do 2 directions, like left, right, rather than up, down, left, right, which made it a lot more stable.
Like an American football.
Yeah, basically. Like
but also getting a really dizzy pigeon.
Well, no, because it's fine. Probably it's a pigeon. Used to moving. Look, here's the thing. Alls I know is that the pigeon spinning, well, the missile spinning around, meant that the pigeon could only go in 2 axes to change direction, which made it much more accurate.
Yeah.
I don't really think the pigeon getting dizzy was an issue, given what was about to happen to the pigeon. Let's put it this way, Luke. There wasn't an ejector seat on that missile. They did not reuse the pigeons. That was not the plan.
What?
What do you think happens when you drop a pigeon in a bomb?
Pigeon flies away. It doesn't need an ejector seat. It's got wings. Just let it out.
Luke, if you it's locked in.
It needs to be a homing pigeon as well. Well, you can like have a thing that lets it out, and it's a homing pigeon as well, so it flies home. Ready for my next mission, sir. Reporting for duty.
Just lead all of your enemies back to your base after you've bombed.
Well, they're dead. It's fine.
No, that's not how you
There's one left, and he's just there.
Oh my god, what a
giving
movie!
You evils.
How good of a movie would that be? Like
sees the pigeon flying away.
And he follows the pigeon, know, to go on like a journey of revenge.
Love it.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
Because it's a great opening scene to a movie. Pigeon in a bomb. Pigeon. Oh no, pigeon's gonna die. Pigeon escapes. Mission Impossible style. Or
it goes down on a wire.
Sorry.
He can fly,
more like who's that guy who escaped the escape artist?
Who escaped the escape artist?
Yeah.
Well, who escapes the escape artist? Look, that's really the question. Who watches The Watchmen? Who escapes the escape artist? What are you talking about? I was gonna say Charlie Chaplin. No, it's the bloke that died. The one that got his stomach thing.
The guy who like put himself
Houdini.
on David Blaine.
Oh.
Not Houdini. David Blaine. Houdini's dead. David Blaine, he does I handcuff myself under 5 million liters of water. How do I get out? I do.
I have the keys.
Yeah.
It's a trick.
Yes, probably. That is probably,
probably right.
What it is, yeah.
It'd be an insane thing otherwise. But yeah, I feel like you kind of touched on the ethics, Luke, and that is fantastic. That's fantastic, because the last thing of this episode that we've got is the ethics. And so he mentions that, it was World War Bloody 2.
Jordan Peterson's back. It was World War Bloody 2, man.
No, look, there's like
clean your room before you put a pigeon in a missile.
One of the opening quotes of this is the ethical question of our right to convert a lower creature into unwitting hero is a peacetime luxury. I love the way this man writes. There were bigger questions to be answered in the late 30s. But yeah, basically, he's like, dude, it's fine to kill a few pigeons in bombs, so long as we're bombing Nazis.
Yeah.
And you know
that's what I always say.
Punch a Nazi, blow up a pigeon. That's
an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. That's the end of that Bible quote, isn't it?
It's a pigeon for a pigeon.
A pigeon for a Nazi.
Pigeon for a Nazi.
That's a fair trade.
I genuinely... Yeah, and I do like and love pigeons, but
we're both vegan. I think we'd probably both trade a pigeon for a Nazi.
If you said to me, Corey, you have to snap the neck of a pigeon to kill every Nazi.
Every Nazi? I thought it was one pigeon per Nazi. Now we're talking
hilariously inefficient. That's like strapping a pigeon to a bullet. Like
Yeah.
Missiles kill more than one person at a time, Luke. That's kind of the point.
Well, I'm just saying I was prepared to sacrifice one pigeon per Nazi, up to, because it's like some will be lost in training, some will peck their way in the wrong direction and just blow themselves up and nothing else, and then some will get some Nazis. And, as long as it's more than one Nazi per pigeon, A-okay with me.
Well, I know one Nazi that I'd love for a pigeon to destroy, and I'll tell you who that is. On the Patreon.
Oh, Jiggy boy.
That is it. It won the Ig Nobel Prize in 2024, by the way, for peace, I'm pretty sure.
For peace?
Yeah. Well, they didn't do anything.
How much peace was created then?
I mean, a lot of pigeons survived, I suppose.
Is that peace? The pigeons would have survived.
What's the symbol of peace, Luke?
A dove.
And what is a dove if not a white pigeon?
Wow.
Don't be racist, Luke.
Yeah, I suppose this is like, it really is white supremacy, isn't it? With the whole like,
Christ.
Doves are better than pigeons thing.
It is.
That is, yeah.
There's nothing else to it.
And that's why I don't like white supremacy. And that's the reason.
Okay, well, I mean, you could catch the rest of this on Patreon, but I'm going to be honest with you. I doubt there's going to be any more SCI Guys after this, because what Luke just said is not only career-ending.
Is it?
But truly life. That you only dislike white supremacy because of
as
pigeons.
A joke.
You dislike white supremacy as a joke.
No, I don't.
So that is it. That's all. That is all from us, is it not, Luke?
That is, for now, yes.
Oh, why? Why just for now?
Because we're going to the Patreon, where I'll probably get cancelled again.
Doesn't matter if you get cancelled, Luke. They've already paid.
Joke's on you. I'm going to Hawaii.
Paid to support an anti-white supremacist. So before we go, we would like to thank all of our patrons, Luke, wouldn't we? With a very extra special thank you to executive producers Rev Lunar, Glitch Rabbit, and Cody Miller. But subscribe for new episodes every single Monday. Why don't you? And you can find our merch, our Patreon, and like everything else at sciguyspod.co.uk.
That's sciguyspod.co.uk. Sciguyspod.co.uk.
You can follow me at Not Corey everywhere.
You can follow me at Luke Cutforth everywhere, and you can follow us both to the Patreon.
Ooh. You've never mentioned that before. What is it?
We've made a lot of jokes about it. Let me just quickly explain what's going on with the Patreon. We're trying a new thing where we are going to do the episodes, the normal live episodes. We've made lots of jokes about the Patreon. Let me just quickly explain it. We are trying a new thing where we do the main episodes and then we carry those episodes on with a bit more sort of chaotic, probably junk and loads of fun over on the Patreon if you want a bit more. And if you don't, the episodes will always be here. And if you want a little bit, tiny bit more, I'm not quite finished, I want a bit more dose of Corey and Luke, then you can head over to our Patreon for more of that.
Look, they've already gone. The episode's over. Go home.
Go to the Patreon then.
Oh, go to Patreon. Go there.
Yeah, come on.
Bye.